Hello guys, and welcome back to Reading Club. So today I'm going to read you a new book. It's called The Matrix Mission. Time Chronicles, The Matrix Mission. The story so far. The Matrix is a visual part of the time web, an ancient computer that can detect where virons are attacking the past. While Biff and Chip wait anxiously in the time vault, Nina faces extreme danger. Can she bring the Matrix safely back to Mortlock, the Time Guardian, or will the Virons get to it first? Chapter 1. Nina felt as if she was sliding down an invisible tube. Colors flashed before her eyes, noises came and went. Then silence. She had no idea where she was. She had arrived somewhere back in time, and she knew she was alone. Joanne's eyes strained in the candlelight. He pulled the old book he was copying closer to the flame. He had to make an accurate copy for the Archbishop. His inky fingers brushed the page. "Careful," he muttered. To make a bolt would mean starting that page again. That would take hours. The Archbishop would only pay him for a perfect copy, no matter how long it took. Suddenly, a shaft of bright light broke through the gloom. Joanne narrowed his eyes. A figure had stepped into the room. "Who are you?" gasped Joanne. "I'm Nina. Mortlock sent me," said Nina. The name Mortlock made Joanne jump. He knocked over his bottle of ink. He had not heard that name for a long time, but he knew what it meant. "You must be from the future," he said. "You look different from us." The black ink spread like a dark shadow over the page of careful work. Joanne's heart beat faster. "Then you have come for the Matrix," he muttered. "I never thought the time would come." He rose quickly to his feet. "Come with me. We've no time to lose." Chapter 2. Nina followed Joanne out of a chapel building at the side of the Archbishop's palace. She ran after him through rows of grapevines to a dusty barn. Joanne pulled open the heavy wooden door of the barn and beckoned her inside. At the end of the barn were rows of barrels. Nina could see a girl about her own age scrubbing a large wooden machine. "This is my sister," said Joanne. "She's cleaning the wine press in time for the grape harvest." "Elsa, this is Nina," said Joanne. "She has come for the Matrix." "But we haven't got it," gasped Elsa. "We left it hidden in our father's workshop in the city." Nina held up her hands. "Please, slow down," she said. "First, tell me where I am." "At the Archbishop's country palace near the city of Mainz. It is 1411, said Joanne. "But the city gates are locked," said Elsa. "No one is allowed to go in or out." Nina was puzzled. "Why?" she asked. "A few days ago, strangers came to the city," said Elsa. "They said they had orders to shut it down. They told people to leave." "Most people couldn't afford to leave," said Joanne. "Those who could leave did." "What did the strangers tell everyone?" asked Nina. Joanne looked worried. "They said a plague called the Black Death was on the way and would soon be in Mainz. All the gates were locked. Every bridge was guarded," went on Elsa. "Everyone who left was stopped and searched." "Ugh," shuddered Joanne. "The man who searched us was weird. He made me feel cold even though it was a hot day." Nina's eyes widened. "Virons," she exclaimed. "What if those men are Virons? What if there's no plague? Could they be spreading panic so they can search the city for the Matrix?" "If they are looking for the Matrix, they could be at Father's workshop right now," said Joanne anxiously. "Then we must go to it before they do," said Nina. "How can we get into the city?" It's impossible, replied Joanne. It may not be, said Elsa. I have an idea. Chapter 3. It was late in the afternoon before Joanne put down his pen and folded the letter. Nina carefully dripped red sealing wax onto the paper. Elsa had molded the archbishop's shield in a lump of clay. As the wax set, she pushed the shield into it. A letter from the archbishop giving us permission to go into the city, she said. Joanne studied the letter. It's a bit of a rushed job, he said, but it'll do. Rushed? Laughed Nina. It took ages. Where I come from, printing a letter takes seconds. What? Asked Joanne, puzzled. Oh, it doesn't matter, smiled Nina. With the letter finished, the children set off. Elsa had given Nina some clothes to wear. You need to look like a servant, she told Nina. Nina felt hot in the heavy skirt and cloak as they hurried down the valley. Soon they reached the river. On the other side was the city. Beyond its walls were rooftops and church spires. It all looked so peaceful. The river glistened in the sun like liquid gold. The main bridge to the city was guarded by two dark figures. They were searching a cart and questioning the driver. Chapter 4. Some way upstream from the bridge was a paper mill. The mill was deserted, but the huge water wheel still turned slowly. Elsa gripped Joanne's arm. I'll wait here at the mill, she said. If you're not back by nightfall, I'll get help. Good luck. Joanne and Nina were soon at the bridge. A figure moved out in front of them. Nina shuddered. She felt a strange coldness as the man approached. What is your business? The man asked. Joanne handed him the letter. We come on the orders of the archbishop. The archbishop? The man looked at them suspiciously. What does he want? Nina gulped. He wishes us to fetch an important book from the cathedral, said Joanne. At your own risk, the man muttered. There's a plague in the city. Joanne and Nina hurried on, but then they heard a shout. Nina glanced back to see a second man waving the letter. The two men began to charge after them. Come back, one yelled. They've seen through us. Run, Nina, gasped Joanne. They ran down narrow streets and darted through passageways. At last, Joanne stopped. I think we've lost them, he panted. He opened a door leading into a courtyard, crossed the yard, and climbed onto a high wall. Nina flung off her cloak and leapt up. Joanne caught her wrist and hauled her up. Then they dropped to the other side. Chapter 5. They had reached the workshop. In front of them was a heavy door with two locks. Joanne took two huge keys from his belt and unlocked the door. My father makes coins here, said Joanne, as he pushes the heavy door open. In the workshop, tools hung on every wall. To one side was a large brick furnace. On a bench was a tray of metal blocks. It looked rather like a computer keyboard. Nina gasped. It looked very much like the drawing she had seen of the Matrix. She looked around anxiously. What if the Virans were to come now? Is this it? She asked. No, these are punctures that make coins, said Joanne. He picked one out. You hit this onto a metal disc and stamp an imprint. He began to dig in a bunker of charcoal, reaching to the bottom with his hands. What are you doing? Asked Nina. You'll get filthy. Exactly, he said. He pulled out a metal tray. No one would think of looking for the Matrix in here. Even though it was black from the charcoal, the Matrix was so beautiful that they both fell silent. It looked similar to the tray of punches, except each block had a different symbol carved into it. Where did it come from? Asked Nina. The east, I think, said Joanne. Suddenly, the lights from the oil lamp grew dim. An icy coldness swept over them both. The dark figure of Viren stood in the doorway. He was holding the cloak Nina had flung off before she climbed the wall. Without the Matrix, the Time Guardians will be lost, he hissed. Then he slowly held out his hand. Give! Chapter 6. Joanne held the matrix behind him. He and Nina backed away. The Viren moved towards them. Suddenly, Joanne fell over a stool. He cried out in pain as he landed on the matrix. Nina saw her chance. "Take it!" she shouted, holding out the tray of punches. The Viren turned towards her. Nina felt an icy chill of fear. But at that moment, Joanne picked up an oil lamp and flung it at the Viren's feet. At once, the burning oil ran across the floor in a low curtain of flame. The Viren let out a cry and sprang back. "Run, Nina!" shouted Joanne. "Run!" Chapter 7. They raced through the city streets. When they got near the bridge, they could see Virens guarding it. "They'll soon know they've been tricked," said Joanne. "We won't get out of the city." "We'll have to cross the river another way," said Nina. They scrambled along the bank. Moored some way upstream was a small rowing boat. Almost at once, they found the strong current was taking them down towards the bridge. "Any closer, and the Virens will see us," said Joanne urgently. "Aim for the paper mill," shouted Nina. More by chance than skill, Joanne steered the little boat across to the mill. He slammed the boat against the side of the wall. "Climb onto the water wheel," he called. "Step onto one of the paddles, and hold on." As the water wheel turned, they were lifted up out of the river and onto a platform at the top. Elsa was waiting for them. "You made it," she said. As she spoke, a doorway suddenly appeared. The mission was over. Joanne and Elsa watched as Nina stepped through the doorway. "Take care of the matrix," said Joanne. As he turned, Nina noticed that on the back of his shirt, the cartwheel dust had left a perfect print of the matrix. "You made the imprint when you fell on it in the workshop," laughed Nina. "A print," said Joanne. "There's an idea." But Nina had vanished. So that's the end of this book. I hope you enjoyed my readings of it, and if you did, please click many likes and subscribe Reading Club. I'll come back later with a new and improved channel. Bye everybody, see you later!